There we are.
Good evening. This is the Raleigh Finance Committee Town Meeting of January 14th, 2014. We call the meeting to order at 7:21 p.m. First on our agenda is the announcement of some personnel changes. We'd like to recognize Julie Cantrell is now our Finance Committee Secretary. Glad to have you aboard, Julie.
Thank you.
And looking forward to working with you. Also to acknowledge, as announced at the Selectmen's meeting, that Karen Drahosel is resigning from the Finance Committee. She's moving out of town, and her last day is tomorrow. I'd like to also reiterate that she's done a very good job as on the committee, and we're going to miss her sorely. I'd like to also, if I could, on the website, the position of secretary, if we could add Julie's name to that.
I'll do that.
And next on the agenda is approval of minutes of, we have a couple of sets now, October 8th and November 4th. I believe everyone got the October 8th minutes a while ago. Has everyone had a chance to review the minutes? Okay, well, we'll take a couple of moments here to go over everything.
Make a motion that we accept the minutes.
Okay, is everybody finished? There's,
Still alone, yes.
okay.
Okay.
All right, I'll second.
All right, have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, those are accepted. Also, we just got the minutes for the November 4th meeting that was held prior to the town meeting. If we could take a look at those.
I'll make a motion to accept
Okay,
November 4th minutes.
have a motion to accept the minutes.
Second.
Second, right. Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye. I did have a question on, so what was the result of this? How you would investigate to see if...
I haven't investigated. I will carry that as an open item for the next meeting to investigate whether the finance committee needs to be in session during the whole meeting.
No, actually, when the open meeting law was revised back a few years ago, any town board that has a quorum at town meeting is exempt from the posting of the open meeting law notice. So if you needed to discuss an issue, as you sit at the table anyway and preside over, you play a significant role in the town meeting, you wouldn't need to worry about having an open meeting notice or continuing your session and taking minutes. So you had a meeting prior to town meeting to discuss yours, you adjourned to town meeting, like the selectmen do.
Yep.
And so if you need to discuss issues at the table, under the revisions of the
Okay.
new open meeting law, you're fine.
Okay, good, that's what we needed to know. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Debbie.
You're welcome.
Okay, that concludes item 3. Item 4, discuss the ongoing liaisons. Anybody have any inputs? No?
No, Debbie, who would I contact about getting a budget for, so that I could contact the fire department and the library?
So-
Should I just send you an email, like if I want to look at their budget before I meet with them?
Oh, sure.
Current?
Their current, just send me an email and I'll coordinate them with Chief
Okay.
Roberts. If need the balances, whatever.
Just so I have
Yep, sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I do have, and Jamie is the liaison at the water department, but when, at budget time, there was some questions about the salaries and things like that, and I just wanted, for those of you that maybe haven't followed the water department meetings on television or so, that the since those meetings and the budget, the business manager and the superintendent have both resigned, and the business manager's account duties are being outsourced, and they have a temporary supervisor right now, and as I left, they were discussing the going for the formal job posting and everything else for a permanent position there. And then the second item that I wanted us to be aware of is that they have a consultant, John Hargraves, who has been overseeing the plant development the water plant, and he's been kind of reviewing the change orders and things like that. And they've had him under a contract, I think it's around $3,000 a month or so. And I think his contract runs out in January, so they're looking for an extension, and they'll be coming soon, I guess, to the selectmen for a line item change to allocate $12,000 or so from, I think it's line item 13 to line item 8, which is their maintenance for the plant. And just to be aware of that, there's some change coming, but in case you haven't been following the water department. Any questions? Okay. Going back to 2B, we are sorry to see you go, Karen. And you're going to be sorely missed, and we appreciate all the work that you've done for the town.
Thank you.
And in regards to that, item 5, we're looking for someone to replace or to fill the open position on the Finance Committee. And if anyone is interested, they can contact Joan Peterson. Her phone number is on the website, or you can send in your request or information to the Town Administrator, Post Office Box 275 in Rowley. So anyone interested in helping us out, we'd appreciate it. 6th item is inputs to the town report. Normally all the departments are asked to give a dissertation on what they've accomplished during the year, and I'm not going to say that I was very brief and stuff, but this is what I've come up with as far as putting it in the town report, 2 sentences or so. But I don't know if anybody has anything to add or comment on, subtract. I'm basically saying that, we're continuing with the liaisons, and just to mention that the meetings are now taped, so they're available for review at later dates or so.
Mr. Chairman, I'll continue, of course, run it by you, the pie charts and I do the tables with the projected and the history of the municipal program categories. Just want to make sure I'll run it.
Yeah, that was my
Right.
question, were those going to be
Yeah,
continued?
I'm going to do those, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Okay.
I mean, it's, I've seen them in the past, so, if you want to continue them on in the future, that's fine with me. Item 7 is discuss the reserve fund transfer for the demolition costs of 112 Central Street. And because I am an abutter, I'm going to have to recuse myself and let Janet take over the meeting. So I'm going to, in case anybody is watching, I will vacate the seat and let you take over.
Okay. Okay.
I'll join Dave.
Okay. Do you want to give us some
Yeah,
background?
basically, I'm Dave Peterson representing the Board of Selectmen. And as you all know, back a number of months ago, we had a large house fire at 112 Central Street. in which extensive amount of damage was done, and people had to move out, and we ended up having the board up the property. And the owner of the property really has few, if any, financial resources. Her intent was to sell the property. The property was put up for sale, and then there was an agreement reached with a buyer. But then it turned out that they couldn't clear the title, and I guess it's in court. There's other heirs, and it's a rather complicated process, so that the property basically sits there now, semi-boarded up in a decrepit and a dangerous condition. The building inspector has basically condemned it, and if you go by there, it's obvious that we need to do something with it. Well, the owner can't afford to do anything with it, so that's the onus is on the town to make it safe, but it's a public safety hazard as declared by the building inspector in conjunction with the Board of Health. And I mean, everybody agrees that it should be torn down. The process is somewhat complicated, and it's probably going to be quite expensive. We have nothing, no budget money available. I mean, nobody planned on this thing. It's an emergency type situation. Nobody plans on these things. So what we're trying to do now is, being an old house, the Board of Selectmen has voted that we want to demolish it. However, there's some legal issues that the town administrator is looking at in terms of us being able to do that in conjunction with the present owner. On top of that, that house was constructed in an era when pipes and boilers were covered with asbestos and those kinds of issues. And this is probably going to be, if we end up taking it down, which I would say at this point is probably a good possibility, it's going to be a relatively expensive process. Asbestos removal and checking for lead paint also in demolition process is a highly technical field, and you have to hire specialized removal companies, and they come at high rates and high fees. So the town administrator has contacted a company, and they're willing to come in and take a look at the property, and it's going to cost us initially a couple of $1,000s to get the property looked at and assessed, and to look at what the cost will be for the actual removal and demolition regarding that. She's also got an estimate on the demolition alone. The estimate we have is around $12,000, but that doesn't include the asbestos, and we may have to fence it. There may be some other issues. So at this point, we're not looking for any money, but the town administrator is going to pursue the legal issues. And what we probably will do is at one of your future meetings, once we get some facts and figures, come in looking for initially probably somewhere between $2,000 and $3,000 to do the asbestos assessment and lead paint assessment. And in all likelihood, and I think in the back of our minds, we're kind of hoping that this whole thing can then will take a long enough period of time that at the special town meeting, at the annual meeting, is when we might look for a transfer to take the building down. Because right now, the only available money is your reserve fund, and that's why I'm here tonight to say that we'd probably be looking for at least probably $2,000 to $3,000, and that'll depend on what town administrator comes up with in talking with the asbestos, just to make the assessment. Once we do that, we may have to come back, if things move along real fast, we may come back looking for a little bit more money to at least start the process, because it is a public safety hazard. So we're kind of between a rock and a hard place. So I just wanted your committee to know that when we come in, and if you got questions or concerns, check with the town administrator, check with one of us on the board.
Well, can I ask a question?
Sure.
So will a lien be put against the sale of the property so the town recoups?
Yeah, what happens is all the costs that we have, plus the charges for the cost, plus the legal work and all that stuff is put into a lien. So eventually, if the property gets sold, we get the money back. If for some reason it doesn't get sold and the town takes the property for non-payment of taxes or something, then we'll kind of get cut short, although we can eventually sell the property. So the reimbursement was probably a fair time away.
Right.
But, obviously we're going to need the money fairly soon. So like I say, at this point, we're looking for that we will be looking for the initial $2,000 to $3,000 probably, and that's flexible at this point. And maybe before the town meeting, we might look for some more money to start the demolition if that's appropriate. If not, if we can hold off, we'll try and hold off for the town meeting and transfer the money from some other line item in the budget. So that the last thing we want to do is strip the finance committee of, you know, your emergency funds in case anything else
Right.
happens. You know, you never know between now and the end of the year what kind of emergency situations we're gonna face. So
Okay.
that's just a basic synopsis. If anybody's got any questions between the town administrator and myself, I'm more than happy to answer them.
Does anyone else have questions tonight? Nope. Okay,
No, I listened to the whole presentation last night on TV. So.
okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Would you like to come back?
All right. Any other items of business?
Could I ask one other question whenever about a different topic?
Sure.
Peter, the last meeting I was at, or last couple of meetings or whatever, there was discussion about the communications
Oh,
committee on
yeah,
the school.
yes. Mhm.
What is the status of that? I'm getting the impression that, you know, the last meeting was canceled.
It was canceled, yeah.
They're still holding it during the daytime.
There's still, it was
I
a
know-
1 o'clock meeting, I made known I couldn't make it, and then others, you know, I guess nobody else said they couldn't make it, but then they ended up not having it anyway, so, you know.
So that whole process, as far as you know, is up in the air and not resolved. And
Yeah, I don't know.
that was a
you
real
know.
essential over the years. That committee has
I
been
know.
really essential in terms of discussion, budget discussions, and other issues too. But obviously, it played a big part in the budget
No, I just
issues,
can't,
and it just seems like the whole process is broken down. Not from want of our input, you know, because we have a member of the Board of Selectmen that goes too. But it's important that, you know, you can come back and keep the
No.
Finance Committee apprised as well as we get apprised by the Board of Selectmen.
you know, I
It
just
seems
can't
like
make
it's
1 o'clock, you
falling
know.
apart. And in the daytime meeting, it's
possible.
just, you know, it's
Mm.
fine if you're retired, but if you're working,
Yeah. I need my job, so,
yeah, no, I'm
That's
sure. Okay,
important.
no,
you know.
That's all, just an inquiry if anything
Yeah.
has been resolved. Thank you.
I have a quick question for you, Dave. When are you sending out budget recommendations and expect the budgets to be coming out?
We're
I'll the
waiting,
town administrator handle that.
we usually do it the last week in January week for the governor's budget.
Okay.
House 1 to be released,
Yeah.
which comes out under the statute at the end of the month. We do get preliminary numbers at the MMA meeting in Boston on, which is done Friday the 24th,
Okay.
unofficial numbers. So we just want to make sure that we're on track to get state aid and chapter 70 for the
Yeah.
schools.
I heard the governor was coming out with his budget next week, I think it was.
Yeah, it's probably a draft, I know, or
Yeah.
maybe he's releasing it before the deadline, but, so we just
Okay.
try to get that, and we've been looking and, you know, working in the fiscal team already on this.
Okay.
Regarding talking about the school budget, just because I read some of the things that they send me, and they were saying, Brian Forget was saying how he thinks it's gonna be a tough year for the Triton School this year, you know, because they're facing this, not, like last year, they had, you know, extra monies, funds that they're not gonna have available this year, so you know, it looks like it's gonna be tough negotiations, you know, for this upcoming. So it would be good to, you know, have people from the finance committee go to some of these, you know, district meetings and stuff that they have, you know, to see what's going on.
Yeah, because the problem is, in other words, in the past, we've had pretty good, prior to their coming out with the budget to the public, we've had pretty good information as to what the general numbers are gonna be, and right now, I think all the town officials, and it's not just Rowley, I think it's all 3 towns, are really in the dark.
It's
Other than there was an article in the newspaper the other day that, you know, I mean, we know the budget's going up, it always does, but, you know, what kind of facts and figures and
Well, it's critical
because
because
that's essential for us to plan our,
they're negotiating a new contract for the teachers too,
Right.
so that, you know, that should be factored in. There should be some kind of, you know, I think, you know, I mean, because that's, you know, that's gonna be the biggest nut, you know, whatever they come up with for the teacher's
Right.
contract is gonna be, you know,
And the other big issue there is
Yes.
last year, after the budget, after the town meeting, and you might be aware, you might not be, that the state changed the school reimbursement formula for cities and towns and regional school districts. And that the Triton, the way that the pot was split up for the assessments to the 3 towns in this district, they actually increased Newbury's assessment by 200 and, I believe, it's somewhere around $240,000. They reduced ours by 140 and Salisbury's by, I don't know, 100 and something. And because all the town meetings had been taking place, the budgets were voted, that kind of went by the wayside last year. There wasn't a lot we could do unless Newbury was willing to go back and have a town meeting and say, sure, we'd be happy to increase our assessment. Then ours could have been dropped, but obviously that didn't happen. We wouldn't expect that to happen in reality, but that should have a big effect on this year's budget too, because Newbury's starting off with a huge increase before anything else, and we should have somewhat of a decrease that should be helpful to us, but without having any idea what the numbers are, it's just extremely difficult, and it's just kind of frustrating because we're getting ready to start looking at hard numbers once the town administrator and the chairman of the board or whatever go to MMA and find out what the state figures are. We really need to get figures together and come to you. You people need to be able to take a look at them, and we need to be able to tell town departments, where we stand on everything from maintenance budgets to potential raises and, capital projects and things like that. So there's a lot on the line here, and the time is getting squeezed in, and by not having the school information, it really is, and that's something we don't have a lot of control over anyway. But it just makes it very difficult for us to do our jobs, and for the town administrator in particular, and eventually you people to, come up with a balanced budget that we can all live with and taxpayers can live with too. So, and there are some big items this year coming up. We got the fire engine, we got, we're looking at building expansions for police and fire. There's a lot of things on the table, and who knows, depending on how the budget works out, how much we can get started on those things is going to be a difficult process.
Okay, any other comments? Can we set next month's meeting? Second Tuesday is February 11th. Does that
It's okay by me.
work with most everybody?
Yeah, sure, that's fine.
11th. It's a Tuesday, right?
Right.
Okay.
That's fine. We should have a better idea of where we're heading and how many meetings we need to start setting up.
Well, I would say, and just explaining to Julie, I said we're just about to start the busy season, so things usually come together. They come together fast. So I was telling Julie that she probably should expect at least 2 meetings in February, probably a meeting every week in March, and even into April, maybe the first 2 weeks in April, or twice in 1 week to just get the warrants done.
Yeah.
So when it starts, it gets pretty intense.
Do we have a date for town meeting yet?
May 5th, first Monday.
Yeah, they set that last night.
Okay, anything else?
Do we want to set up 2 meetings for February, just to have them?
Sure, if that's agreeable with us 4. Want to go for the 25th of February?
Yeah, that's the last.
Yeah, that's the last day. 7:15.
Yep.
I hate 7:15.
Well,
7:20.
No, I like 7 o'clock.
doesn't work for all the commuters,
I know
No.
it doesn't.
especially
Well,
those that work
You
south
can
of
come at
Boston
7
or-
o'clock. And everybody else.
So if I sit there and I go, I've been on the finance committee for so many years that it was always 7 o'clock, and I go, oh no, I've got to wait 15 more minutes before I can leave. So I only live 2 minutes away.
Go to the library.
Yeah.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
We're usually here at 7, so feel free to go down.
Oh, okay.
Some people have been known to come at 6, not knowing what time the real meeting is. Okay, have a motion to close the meeting, to adjourn?
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Okay, second?
Second.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.